Alright everyone, welcome back. Kult of Athena Blade Reviews. We've got the Indian Talwar from USS today. This is a beast of a blade. Super big sweeping cutting power with this one. Awesome blade. It's got an awesome handle as well. And an awesome price point. So we'll do some specs on it, do some up close looks in the scabbard, out of the scabbard, and then we'll pan the cut testing. Let's get to it. Alright, taking a look at the blade itself, setting the scabbard aside for right now. We have 33 1/8 inches of the actual blade. This is a single edge blade, so unlike Shamshirs or other Talwars, this one's single edge with a thick spine to it. The overall length is 38 1/4 inches, all the way from the end of the pommel. Notice we have this traditional cap, which is intended to be for retention, so that when you're slashing, it hooks the hand in and keeps the grip in the hand. This being primarily, I would say, more of a horseman's blade, a blade that you would have when you were mounted because of how long it is. If I take a couple steps back, you'll see as I strike with this one, it basically touches the grass for how long the blade is. So definitely more of a horseback type of blade. Take a look at the handle really quickly. Blade is not super wide, but doesn't need to be. There's less to have to pull through if you're on cuts, especially if you're coming by on horizontals or any of these upward diagonals. You could still thrust with it. It does allow for that, to be able to pull that back out, but it's very obvious from the blade shape and the way this is balanced. This is a slashing blade primarily. Looking at steel quality on this one is made in India, the Indian Talwar from USS. This one is 2 pounds 9 ounces. And really well distributed. So this blade does not feel necessarily heavy. It doesn't feel like a chopper. It feels like, obviously, like I've been saying before, very big sweeping cutting power here, especially for it being primarily mounted. You're not going to see a whole lot of wrist manipulations on this. You're not really even going to see a whole lot of thrusting. This is primarily a total just bludgeoning, slashing, and hacking weapon to just get through whatever you're getting through. Going through people, going through really just your enemies in general. So this one has amazing sweeping power, 2 pounds 9 ounces. We have 1150 high carbon steel, what USS uses for their swords. They have some really cool Hungarian sabers as well. I actually really like their sabers in general. They're really well built, they're tough blades. The steel quality tends to be, the temperings tends to be, from what I've experienced over the years of cutting with them and just moving with them in general, it tends to be of really high quality. They pay really good attention to them. They usually are a little bit on the heavier side, so they are tough blades, so just keep that in mind. They do also have lightweight sabers, like light cavalry sabers as well, if you're looking for those. It's also important to note on this blade that Mark, our sharpening guy Mark, thank you Mark for sharpening this one, because USS swords primarily come unsharpened, unless they're obviously a pre-owned item. So this one has been sharpened by Mark. So you're going to need at least 2 to 4 business days, generally, if it's not the holiday season, because we get slammed during the holiday season. We ask you just to be patient with that. But if you are going to get that sharpening service and you want to do cut testing, I highly recommend it. Mark does a great job on the edges here, which allows us to get these videos to you. Sliding this one in, slides in very nicely. Little bit of a pull from the extension of the handguard, of the short cross guard here, just so your hand doesn't slide up. This actually folds directly into it. So I'll give you an up close so you can see what I'm talking about. So these little notches right here on the sides, they bite the blade into it. Not in a way where it's going to damage the scabbard. I've been kind of drawing this in and out. You might get a little bit of wear on it, but this is also getting a really good deal for this much steel. So the notches on here and this more kind of like pear-shaped, you'll see that this is designed primarily, this being the primary grip anyway, your hand's not really going anywhere. It's really kind of funneled in a really good way. The handle is somewhat flat, but you'll see how it bellies out a little bit on the sides. That's the way just to fill the grip. And then the heel of the hand, there's about 1 finger distance. If I pull this in a little bit closer, about 1 finger distance away. So you don't have to worry about if you wanted to wear gloves with this one, if you wanted to, or you just have a bigger hand than I do. And then again, the short cross guard, if we draw this out, The short cross guard allows the hand to stay really protected behind it. I don't really see you using a different grip other than just a standard, what we'll call a hammer grip for a lack of a better term, because there's so many different terminologies of swords. But I don't see you using anything other than that, especially for the sweeping cutting power. In my opinion, you don't really want to have your grip open like this with such a large blade with a lot of momentum. So you want to make sure that that's going to stay in your hand, especially if you're mounted and you're just kind of riding by. You're not going to be swinging super powerful as much as you are just letting the momentum of your horse in that case to do most of the work. I almost forgot to mention on the scabbard as well, this is a wood cord scabbard for this USS Indian Talwar. We'll notice the same accents here on the tip, as well as right where the hand, right at the very end of the scabbard, slides right in. No problem at all with that. Little bit of a pull, like I said, because of the folding over of the handle, which is intentionally designed like that, of course. You'll see these on other scimitars. You'll see them on other talwars as well. Shamshirs as well. Sometimes you'll see them, not exclusively, but for this one, obviously, you're going to get that. Slides in well, like I said before. This one will be really easy to clean, especially if you have the Flitz gun and knife care kit. That one will really make sure this is in top-notch shape. It also has a polish as well after you're done cleaning it to keep moisture out. You can see the link in the description below this video for that. Okay, so what I want to do now is do some up-close looks of the blade. I really want you to get a great look at the handle as well. It's a really aesthetically pleasing, other than the functionality, it has a really aesthetically pleasing shape. Thankfully the sun is coming out right now, perfect timing for that. We'll look at the blade in the scabbard and out of the scabbard. Look at this one. Take a look at all those awesome designs. This is where the handle, like from the cross guard to here, this is connected directly to the handle. There's the pear shape on it, like I was saying before about the handle. It's smooth on the sides of it, but the traction into your grip does bite into the hand. We take a little pan down of the blade, folds right into the scabbard. Wood cord, leather wrap scabbard. And then all the way down to the end as well. All right, then we take a look at the blade out of the scabbard. Again, getting some really good details on the handle. You'll see those are the insert points of what I was talking about. That goes right into the scabbard, giving it a relatively secure fit. Very end of the cap. Sits well into the hand, still a little bit of room here if you have a bigger hand than I do. And if we look at this blade, it's balanced well, so it's actually kind of hard to, oh, there we go. Perfect. Notch it in there. This is a beast of a blade. I have to back up just to get the whole blade in the frame. So you'll see very, very back swept blade on purpose. You'll see a lot of other English sabers that I'm sure are actually modeled after the Shamshirs and the Talwars, this being the Indian Talwar from USS. These are also really easy to clean, which is a nice thing to do, especially if you're doing cutting. And you'll see the very well sharpened edge. Remember, these come unsharpened if you are not adding a sharpening surface to them. All right, my friends, the time has come. Now we are going to do some cut testing with the USS Indian Talwar. The sweeping power of this, I imagine, is going to be excellent. So let's pan to that and see how it does. Tatami is relatively dry because it's been sitting out in the sun, and that was with that uppercut. So we can see that this curved blade on this USS Talwar, really impressive on the cutting power. Obviously the horizontals are going to be really awesome on it as well, it being more of a, you know, this is if you were mounted, or you could argue if you were a really big dude, this could be used as for sword and shield, but because of how long it is, it kind of hits the ground when you slash with it, or if you open up with big full range of motion cuts. So did really well in the uppercuts and did really well in the horizontals. Alright, so after cutting with it, what do I think? I knew it was going to cut really well from the point of balance on this one. It's balanced very well. Something to note on this is that if you're not used to a bigger handle, this isn't a giant handle by any means, but there is a little bit of room here. So depending on what you want to do, I wouldn't do this, but you might like to choke down on the end of the cap. You might like to be on the guard. I like to be somewhere right in the middle where I can just feel the blade is connected to my hand, especially when I'm cutting with it with a 38-inch razor blade. So just keep being mindful of that. So something that I did like about it was obviously the actual point of balance and the ability basically to slash through just anything in your way. What I didn't really like about it is the weight. So not heavy, 2 pounds 9 ounces. My personal opinion on it. It could be a little bit lighter. That does not mean this is not versatile. This is intended to be a horseman's type of sword or sword and shield for if you're a giant. But I would argue this is primarily, almost exclusively, a slashing weapon for horseback. But that being said, it still performed really well. It is a little heavy, but I would not put that off to the side if you're looking for something that's a price point under $300 for this one. I believe $209 on the website. You can check the link below for the exact pricing. Maybe one's on sale right now. But yeah, really good blade. USS does a great job on their sabers, like I said before. I would love to cut with more of these, especially these really awesome back-swept blades. Definitely more back-swept than you would see of a katana. Not exclusively. Some katanas are straight, some of them are more back-swept, but generally speaking, definitely more of a back-swept blade than you would see from a katana or some of the other blades from different cultures. Alright, so there you have it, the USS Indian Talwar. This one has been a sweeping, cutting machine, as you saw from the soaked tatami mats and also the mats that were dry. So those were partially dry. They've been soaking in the sun because I was about to get them out here. We had a little bit of rain over here, so primarily dry. So that means the edge on this performed really well, point of balance, grip, all the good things. If you like blades like this and you want to see more, let us know in a comment below. Thank you for your support. If you have not subscribed yet, click the subscribe button now. That way we can get more videos to you for free. You can see more of our products. If you have questions on anything, let us know, and we'll see you in the next video.